Hey friends, welcome back to Sack's Garage. I am Sack and this is my garage. Today we are trying to finish up the rear end of the Ranger. Today we are trying to accomplish getting the rear coilovers back in. We've got about a half hour worth of welding to finish up this cross member. If you remember from the last video, this cross brace right here actually gets in the way of drive shaft, so we actually need to bring it up and over like that. So we need to cut that and get that going. We will work on that once everything else is welded up nice and tight. And then once all that stuff is reinstalled, or actually before we put the bed back on, we're gonna work on the body mounts. So you can't really see them in there that well, but because the body mounts are, 35 years old, we're gonna go ahead and replace them. We have some Prothane mounts in this little box right here to go ahead and fix those up. That way when the truck does get caged, it will sit nice and square. It's not going to deteriorate over time with old rubber mountings. We do have a winter storm on the way. It's not going to hit here too hard. It's just going to be really cold. So today we're going to try to finish up our welding on the rear end and get that done so we can have the garage open, not have to worry about the fumes. And then finally, last thing before we do finish is we're going to go ahead and just plate off this bit here. We had to cut out the brackets from the leaves, and I'm worried about the integrity of this piece, so we're just going to put a nice plate over that and weld it in. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, progress update for the day. The truck is now off of the jack stands. You can see that jack stand is no longer on the frame rail. That one's no longer on the frame rail, and it is now sitting on its own suspension. So initial thoughts. I jumped on it. It's good. It moves up and down as expected. However, if you look over here, there's like no gap there between that frame rail and that nut. So I'm going to go ahead and notch this out right here to give it some space to move, and I'll probably just do the same over here on this side just to give it extra clearance in case it goes side to side. Other thoughts. Talking geometrically with how this is set up. Oh, I also raised up this cross member like I said I would, so it will clear the drive shaft. So cut it 45 over, boom boom, 45, good to go. Nice and welded in, all that's good. But when you talk about side loading, which I don't think side loading is as much of a deal because we're going straight, but the front and back loads, there's not really anything geometrically bracing it from the front. So what I think I'm gonna do is run, let me get my pointing stick here. Nice big level. What I think I'm going to do is run a piece from the bottom of this down support up diagonally up to here underneath the cab. There's a cross member right there at the rear of the cab, so I think having a good diagonal piece there, or even diagonally from there up to the frame, might be good. Just to give it that front and back support that I think it really needs. So I think I'll work on that next time. Did not get to the body mounts today. This cross member piece took a lot longer than I expected it to, but that's the nature of how projects go. Anyway, I'm super happy that it's now on the ground on its own. We do have the long weekend to continue working on this, so for tomorrow we're gonna go ahead and work on the cab, try to get the cab mounts done, and then depending on how the weather looks and how long that takes, we may go ahead and attempt those diagonal pieces if we have the steel to do it, which, yeah, we have some 2x2 that we can work with to make that happen. So anyway, that's it for this progress update. All right guys, we are finally done. I apologize from the earlier clips. That lighting was absolutely terrible. You can see here now that there's actually light in the garage. Everything is attached, good. Got this brace all done like I showed you last time. Got the new Prothane mounts in there, looking good. The rubber ones were pretty rusted out and pretty squished, up to about a ½ inch. So that'll help with that. And then finally, we got nice 6x12 plate on there to reinforce the frame. You can see on this one, we welded the inside as well. Got to clean all that up still. And then lastly, We notched this out so that there's room for that to go straight up and down this side. Not as much of a factor. There's some actual space left. So we are going to get the bed reinstalled and then clean up our mess. So you can see there, that's all metal dust from grinding and welding and everything. This place is an absolute mess. I've got tools laying everywhere. So we're gonna spend the rest of the day getting this cleaned up so that we have a clean shop to work in for redoing the front. All right, bed is back on. I really like how that's sitting. Obviously there's no engine in the front, so it's sitting up higher, and that's what we're about to redo. So that should come down and level it out a little bit better. But we have two options. We either raise the back of the truck up a little bit, or we can roll these fenders out. Kind of lean towards rolling the fenders because I really like how this looks, with the tire kind of disappearing up behind the fender there. So we'll have to put that on our list of things to do, but you can see there that that obviously is not going to work the way that currently sits. But I'm super happy with the way that the stance changed. I'll put a picture here as I'm talking to show you how it's different. But the back end of the truck is a lot lower now, so very happy. Time to clean up the garage. That's gonna be it for this episode of Zach's Garage. And until next time, have a great day.